Alright, here's part 2 of the review. I figured I'd break it into groups of 5 because I don't know what your attention span is going to be. So for number 6, it says factor the trinomial and or state the trinomial if it's prime. And so if I'm looking at this, I can already see that the factors of 7 and 1 will give me an 8. So I'm going to bring this down here so I have a little room. And I'm going to look at this as 7x and x over here, and then plus y, and then plus y again. They're both positive, so it should be easy. Inner outer terms, you can see it gives you the 8xy. Last two terms give you y squared, and these two terms give you 7x squared. So obviously that answer choice should be C for this particular one. Okay. There are no negatives, they're both positive, so that's the big hint. Okay. So once again, I'm going to erase to make space. Alright, and so we look at the next question. Next question, I have cubic values. I know that this is 5 cubed, that's x cubed, that's 3 cubed. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to re-express this as 5x to the third power plus 3 to the third power, and I can see that I have a cubic function. So I will follow, in this case, the outline, which means that the first set of terms look identical as, in this case, 5x plus 3 with power of 1. The next term should be this term squared, so that's going to give me 25x squared. This should be the opposite sign of what this is. Remember, these two always match, and this is always the opposite. This term, the next term should be the product of those two, so that'll give me 15x, and we end with this term squared, which is plus 9. So as you can see, in this case, answer choice B would be your best selection for this answer. Question number 8, rationalize the denominator. If you recall, I discussed with you the conjugate, which is the opposite sign. So this will be 7 plus the square root of 5 over the 7 plus the square root of 5. And so if you recall, I also said to you that because this is a minus and this is a plus, the inner outer terms when I do FOIL will cancel. This will become 49, because 7 times 7, that gives you 49 in the denominator, minus 5. So we already know your denominator should be 44. So I'm looking at answer choices either A or D as possible answers. The next part to consider is the numerator, which in this case is basically distribution. So this is going to give you 35 plus 5 square root of 5, and so we could see that's our answer in this case. That's a plus, not a minus, right? Because that's a plus. We're using the conjugate. Okay, number 9. For number 9, I need like 10 pieces of paper and a partridge in a pear tree, because this thing is ginormous. But let's see if I can make some room here, and I'll try my best to be as neat as possible. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this part of the denominator, and I want to factor that. And so as I factor that, I'm going to consider that this is 3 over, let's go with x minus 8, x plus 3. And I think that works. And this is minus 1 times x plus 3. And believe it or not, this is over all of the same stuff because I just distributed by doing that. So this is basically x minus 8 and x plus 3. So I have just built this up, and now I have the numerator, which is going to look something like 3 minus x minus 3 over x minus 8 and x plus 3. Alright, so that'll cancel this. This will leave me negative x over all of this, and that's my numerator. Now, to fix the denominator, I need to multiply by x plus 3 over x plus 3, which is the equivalent of 1. And I am left with, for the denominator, if you notice, 1 times x plus 3 is x plus 3. So I have, in this case, we're not multiplying, I'm sorry. So it's 1 plus x plus 3, which is going to give me x plus 4 over, and then again, our common denominator is x plus 3. So, keep, change, flip, if you recall, because at this point I have this, I have x plus 4 over x plus 3 down here, and if I keep, change, flip, I know in the class I was sort of mocking and saying this is like Kentucky chicken fried, so we do keep, change, flip. So we keep the negative x over x minus 8 and times x plus 3, and we multiply that instead of dividing by the reciprocal, which is x plus 3 over x plus 4. Alright, and so we could see that the x plus 3's are going to cancel. Now it's time to look and see what we have here. We have negative x over x minus 8 times x plus 4, basically. And so this is obviously going to give you x squared minus 4x, and this is going to give you minus 32. So the answer choice for number 9 should be C. Right? Because you end up with negative x over x minus 8 times x plus 4. And then you just factor it out. So there's your answer right here. Alright, number 10. Again, remember this is a video. Unlike class, you can actually pause me. You can fast forward me. I sound like a chipmunk. Yeah. But case in point is just take your time. If you lost me at a step, you can always rewind it. It should be helpful to you. Alright, let's look at number 10, and then I'll stop this video. Okay, so for this one, it says simplify the rational expression, find all numbers that must be excluded from the domain. And so what I would recommend for this one is start with the numbers that you would exclude. So I'm looking at that denominator, and I'm thinking the value has to be 14 and 48, so I'm thinking x plus 6 and x plus 8 would give me that denominator. So the two values right away that come to my mind that x cannot assume are right here. It's either going to be this answer or this answer. You can forget about C and D, because we're technically just saying then in this case that x equals negative 6 is a no-no, and x equals negative 8 should not also be accepted. Now, if you notice in the numerator, we have 42, so 6 and 7 would give us 13. So this has to be an x plus 6, x plus 7. So if I cancel the x plus 6's, I'm left with my answer, which would be answer choice B, x plus 7 over x plus 8, with the restrictions of negative 8 and negative 6. Alright, once again, I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to upload the new video for you.